Ken Gertie, I would like to introduce you to Elizabeth Rains. She is the MAPS coach extraordinaire from Oklahoma that I've been working with since last May. She's joining us here on our market call. She is the bomb.com. So if you have any questions after this Monday market call, feel free to hit her up and ask her. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. As you know, we've been tracking since last August, specifically Allegheny County single-family homes. So we're going to take a look at some numbers here and would love to hear any hot takes that Elizabeth may have on some of these numbers. I did update the averages down here at the bottom so we can be having substantive conversations with our clients about what those numbers mean. So I pulled these about 5 a.m. so they're fresh, hot off the presses. So total active listings in the MLS currently is 1,427. That's just a dozen, maybe one dozen up from last week. And as we can see, it's well below our average. We were inking around 500 below average, but we're about 450, 460 there. Total listings, new listings just on the market in the last week were 200, way down from where we were at the beginning of March. So we are not seeing that uptick that we hoped to going into the spring. So 200, but we are at average on that since August. New pendings. Hi, Jayla. New pendings, 274 in the last 7 days. So that's still down from last week and way down from the week before, but similar to what we saw at the beginning of March. So the ones that are hitting the market are getting scooped up really, really fast. Total closings the last 7 days, we are down. Look at that, 153. We haven't seen, let's see, where were we? 129 at the end of February. Similar to mid-February there. But I think what we're seeing here are properties that closed last week, probably went under contract sometime around here, the beginning of February. So this pop in new listings, sold really quickly. We are seeing an average days on market go down, which is interesting. I don't think it's surprising. I think everybody was waiting for this spring market to hit. And I just lost him multiple offers twice last week. So we are doing our best there. There's just still quite a bit more buyers than sellers. Since we're just tracking Allegheny County, certain areas like Shadyside, Oakmont, Fox Chapel are going to make this number kind of go up and down pretty quickly because we can see $1 million homes in those areas. But we have gone down 30K in the average price for Allegheny County single family residences. Again, I'm not counting duplexes or townhomes or anything like that, just full on single family. Number of price reductions is down. I don't think that's surprising. People that are listing right now are probably going to hold firm. But I am still seeing properties that are that have been on the market 30 days. I saw a couple yesterday. So there's still, believe it or not, some unrealistic sellers out there that aren't having legitimate conversations with their agent about the realisticness of their prices and the education that buyers have at this point of what they're seeing on the market. Buyers are definitely students of the market right now. The sale price to list price ratio, still a great number right there. We're just about 2.1, 2.2% down from the list price of what it actually sells at. I know I mention this every week. Anytime you are looking and I know I use Churchill as an example a lot, but you can go to Churchill if you've got a seller that wants to sell quickly, you can go pull up the sales price to list price ratio in that municipality, take a look at what this number is. And if you think, okay, the comp support 200K, but the sales price to list price ratio is like 2% down, take 2% off of that comp price that you think you could sell it at. That's going to be, I think, your sweet spot that's going to get you multiple offers because it's showing us what that sales price to list price ratio looks like. Again, some things that you can't you can't change are what kind of concessions were made due to inspections or appraisals. So that those are the wild cards, but that certainly can give you the verbiage that you need to talk to your sellers about how to find that sweet spot in pricing and not overpricing. Number of expireds, that's interesting, 66. So it makes me kind of wonder how many people are taking like shorter term listing contracts, like, hey, give me 30 days and I'll list it for you. That's kind of a higher number. We haven't seen that since the beginning of March, and then even back the beginning of February. We do see a nice little uptick. We have 23 more agents in West Penn multi-list. So I joke all the time and say, those are the people that were doing the online courses and took them forever to get through. And now they're probably a little anxious about the market they're entering. But again, be mindful. The new ones are oftentimes hustling and doing the things. So we need to be on our game when we're getting out there and getting those listings and getting those buyers under contract. I don't know what happened here, Allie. Where'd you get that 6.63 last week? I was like, did she pull that out of thin air? I didn't see that.
I went on Michael's email that Michael sends out.
Okay. Well,
I double checked it like 4 times. I was like, refresh, click, refresh. I was like, what?
I think she was on Navy Federal Credit Union.
I know, like USAA.
It was Michael's website, the same one you pull from.
So funny. But yeah, we're still in the low 7s. Obviously we can take a look at the Mortgage Hacks book and see how we can maybe ask sellers to buy that down with us. But again, probably not if it's a brand new listing, but if it's been on the market, maybe 21 to 30 days, you might be able to get that down. Does anybody have any questions or insights on some of these numbers we're seeing here and how they're doing this past week?
I have a question, Jennifer, about some of the data.
Yes, sir.
You made a really interesting question about the number of expireds, and you're like, oh, maybe it was like a 30-day contract or something that they had with them. I'm curious if it's like what the average days on market before it went to expired, right? Because like if they had such a realistic sale price or something, and it could have been up for a whole year, they might have comped them at a COVID, inflated price. And now they're like, oh, wait, no, I was way off. And, I'm just curious on kind of what happened there.
Well, what we'd have to do is go into all of the expireds and then take that tabular information, which could be an exercise that you could do today. If you go into MLS, pull up the expireds, get all of those results, click on tabular and see like what was the average price point, what was the average days on market, because that's the only way, because it could be, again, a year-long contract. It could have been a 6-month, it could have been a 3-month, could have been a 30 days, but that might get you that data a little bit closer.
Yeah, like I said, it's just out of my own curiosity.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that can affect that there, but I think for all intents and purposes, we're looking in general at like what those, how many are hitting in the week long that we're tracking in general. But thank you for pointing that out. That definitely is kind of a wild card number there. Any other thoughts?
Can I throw out a couple of ideas from Gary's call on Friday?
Yes.
So if we look at our 1888 and divide that by our 1427, that's a 25% shift. So Gary's going to say, for you to maintain what you had last year, your activities are going to have to shift by that 25%. So if you do what you did last year, you're going to get 25% less. You got to up your game. The other thing I think it's key to flushing out these sellers that are hiding is getting out there with a really powerful MOFR.
Does everybody here know what a MOFR is?
Make offer for immediate response. That's all Zillow is. Zillow makes nothing, does nothing. All they do is package MOFRs. Ask me what your home is worth. Get a low cost mortgage, those kind of things. But they get people to take action. Right now, there's some hidden inventory that's hiding out there. The people who took deferral, the first wave of deferral, did not have the option to add those payments to the end of their mortgage. The
Mhm.
second wave of stimulus deferral, they did get to tack that onto the end. So there's some people out there hiding from their servicers, not answering the phone because they don't have the money to catch up that first wave. So you might do a MOFR. Hey, did you take the first round of stimulus? Did you take the mortgage deferral? Call me today to talk about solutions. There are people out there they need to preserve the equity of that home, get out from that home, cash out their equity, go into a different situation so they don't lose it. Because they're going to freeze up and they're going to lose that. So just a thought.
Love that. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Does anybody have a question about that? I love, and I think I did the math wrong, but I love the point that you make is that, I feel like what I'm seeing with some agents, particularly seasoned agents, is we are just, counting on our sphere to continue that business that we've had, but we're not doing that extra that we need to do, because what we were doing before, well, honestly, last year I didn't have to do anything. I sent out some magazines, and my sphere was calling me. Thankfully that is still happening. But because of the low inventory, I'm not getting this listings, right? Or the people that are just not selling. So I think figuring out and getting smart on how to up that game 25% into the listing realm is definitely going to help us dig into that some more. As a matter of fact, tomorrow's agent enrichment with Allie here in the Market Center is on listing presentations, like how to get those amped up. And there's tons of really great resources. I don't know if any of y'all have seen the Paperless Agent. It's an online platform and he's got some really great ideas. And I think he's got I do that all the time. I give people my email address and I get free downloads of examples of really great presentations and just see what sparks you, see what seems like a great piece of information and just kind of, snag from others that are willing to give it up for you. The Paperless Agent. There was a couple more. Inman had a really good article as well.
And Jennifer, what's the average age of the people on the call with us?
Oh my goodness. I'm
Like
going,
the age in real estate, not actual age.
time in real estate.
Yeah, time in real estate.
Well, let's see. I'm 7 years. Allie's 4, 5. Ken, what are you? 2, 3?
I'm like 1.5.
1.5. Jayla, 2, 3. Is she on the thing there? Let me check the chat box. 2 years.
2 years for me.
Yeah. Deanna's Deanna, what are you? 16, 17? And Sue.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, Sue. So I'm going to say probably, I would guess like 8, given the young newbies on this call.
Okay. So I want to drop one idea on you guys and then I'll bounce out of here and leave you alone. Our last shift was 15 years ago. Okay. None of you all was in the business. So,
I was.
well,
She
there you go. So we used to do, remember the reverse prospecting?
Mhm.
I have a buyer wants to live in this neighborhood. There's no houses, right? So we would send a letter, we would do a golden letter, whatever. You're going to have to go find and put the deal together. We can't wait for the house to come to the market. You want to go prospect and reverse engineer that, go find the property, put that deal together and be a deal maker right now. That's going to be the difference maker for you.
There are a lot of newer agents that don't think about going into realtor.com or Zillow to do a saved search on FSBOs. In specific neighborhoods that you've got clients looking. There are a ton of sellers that think, oh, it's like shooting fish in a barrel right now in getting a buyer. So that's just one step outside of the MLS that you could be doing to search for that FSBO and then pounce on that if you're able to get it before a buyer snags them by themselves. But then take it up another level, like Elizabeth is saying, and start sending out letters in your favorite neighborhoods that your clients are looking. Just say, I have buyers looking in this price range. If you're considering selling, please give me a call.
All right, guys. Thank you all for letting me pop in on you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She's amazing. She's been a TL for a super long time and an OP in Oklahoma and has done multiple turnaround market centers. So she's super knowledgeable, and she's in Gary's top 100. They have calls every Friday, I think, top 100 in the country. So she has pretty close ties to some pretty smart people. So I love that she jumped in here. That was nice. Does anybody have any questions about our numbers this week? I think this one needs to be different. Hold on one second to make sure. It's this, whoops, equals this divided by this. Yeah.
It's interesting because last week when I hosted, I was sharing when we're talking about inventory and more buyers, I was sharing that I saw someone in Connecticut or somewhere that they had an open house and there was a line around the block. And I was like, we're back there, but it wasn't here. It was in Connecticut. And then I went to meet Leah and Jim for that showing over in Shadyside, or wherever that was.
Yeah.
And I said, why didn't you guys go to the open house? And she said, there was a line around the block. And I was like, so what we saw in Connecticut, that actually was happening here. And that was a little over a week ago, was at that open house, the line was around the block and they got multiple offers from that. So that's just in perspective in the local market right now. That's where we are.
Yeah, honestly, I ended up showing 9 properties yesterday, and one of them was in Ross Township. And it was this cute mid-century, needed tons of updates, but they had no showings to the open house, which if I was a listing agent, I would be doing that right now too. It's that sense of urgency. Everybody gets in there all at once. Depends on your location or whatever, but top school district. Anyway, we got there about an hour into it. I would say when we got there, there was probably 3 dozen pairs of shoes on the porch. It was impossible to walk through. It was just a challenge. It wasn't a fit for my buyers, but I heard the listing agent, who I know, by the way, we closed a deal like in 2016. Christy Stabler, she said there was about 60 people waiting out front when they were opening the doors.
Yep. Yeah, I was just talking with Jordan, a new agent. He has a listing coming on, and the strategy around listing it, he wanted to get it listed right away. And I was like, let's create some sense of urgency around that listing to generate as much interest at one time to push that forward, because that's what we're seeing. So
yeah, for sure.
We're here again.
Well, thanks everybody for coming to the call. If you have any questions, you can rewatch this. We'll put the recording into YouTube, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Hope you guys have a great week. If you need anything, give me a call.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.